Hey Crafty friend, it's me, Justine, and today I'm going to stitch the stitch die of the month, which is called the Stitched Floral Focal Card Front. I'm so glad I was able to say that in one take, because sometimes I have trouble saying those long titles, but I did it anyway. I'm going to go ahead and start with the flower that goes in the center. It is a big bold flower, and you really could use this just as it is, and you can use the background just as it is, but I'm going to layer that on, add some flowers, add a little bit of a sentiment, and we'll be good as gold. If you are new to stitching, please check out my 2 videos that I just put on my channel, the Stitching 101 videos. So those are going to be linked in the description at the very top of this video. I go through how I stitch, how to stitch, the different stitching ways you can do it, the materials. I went through everything. Altogether, it's about an hour and a half long, so there's 2 videos. So grab a snack and go ahead and watch that. But today I am doing some line stitching. So this is basically just going back and forth. I'm following the lines that are on the flower. So if you watch that stitching video, this is going to be just like the wing, but not as chaotic. It's more of a line. So anyway, if you're not familiar with the Spellbinders clubs, this is the stitching club. You get 1 stitching die a month, and it comes to you. You can sign up now if you are a club member. If you are not, go ahead and wait till the 6th and you can sign up. And then after the 27th, it's gone. So if you want it, you gotta grab it now. You might see a lot of tangling in this video. This is not DMC thread, boo. But you know, I'm using what I have, and I wanted a purple variegated, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this. Now yes, the little spool here says DMC. It is not. It's lying to you. Basically, this is one of those threads that I got from a neighbor or a friend. I don't even remember where this specific one came from, but it is not DMC, and that's just fine. We're gonna make it work, and if there's knots, we're just gonna go ahead and keep her moving. I did use the thread conditioner, Thread Magic, on this thread, so far so good. But I am using a really long thread today because I know I'm going to be going through a lot of thread. That is only because this long stitching goes through more thread than normal, because it is long stitches. And it looks like I'm going to have to cut this. So really starting out well here, aren't we? I should have just used a shorter thread to begin with, but okay, sarah. Okay, where is my note? I might just leave this in the video because, you know, sometimes people need to be encouraged, because maybe you start off your stitching project and it is a disaster, and if mine is a mess, oh my goodness. If mine is a mess, maybe it will make you feel better. So we are just going to cut our losses here, literally. Oh my goodness, it's on my needle too. This thread might be a bust. This is why on my stitch video I said go DMC, because it does not with a can. Anyway, we'll tie this off because I guess we have that so far, but we're gonna need to try again. I'm gonna set that off to the side. If I need it, I will go ahead and cut pieces that I need, but we're gonna try again with the other half, because remember I stitch with 3 threads. I'm gonna cut it in half and we'll try again. I am going to condition it because I don't want to mess again. And I do know that this video might be a little bit long because there's this flower to stitch, and then there's also the background. So I'm not going to show you every single second of stitching that background, but I will give you some tips and tricks and show you the necessary parts that you'll need to know. Anyway, if you do get the kitten caboodle, which is the value club that Spellbinders has, you're going to get a hummingbird better press plate. It is so cute. I'll show you here. I just got done watercoloring some of it. I'm all excited about the hummingbirds, but I gotta focus on stitching, but I will show it to you. Alright, I did get my needle on there, and then ironically a little knot formed at the end. I'll just leave that for starting my project, but look at this. Isn't that pretty? Look at all those hummingbirds. And they're really pretty, I think, anyway. So I am just loving the little press plate that comes with the caboodle. Okay, let's continue as we were. That little knot's going to start my stitch for me. And we'll just hope for the best here, going back and forth. And I'll just go all around the flower. That's all finished. I'm just going to do some quick back stitches to finish it off, and then I am going to stitch on the center of this big flower. I think maybe I won't. I think I'm going to skip stitching on the center of this one because I'm going to have a sentiment landing right there, but I will be stitching on my second one. Now I am going to do just one here on camera today, but I will show you the example of number 2 at the end of the video, just in pictures, because it's getting close to the end of the month and I'm just trying to stay ahead of schedule here, so that's just the way it's gonna go. But let's get to the background. Now I'm gonna start with DMC Now 320 because I have it here, and we're gonna just make some greens in this background. And I think that this DMC 320, it looks really good with this green paper over here. And that's the Sage from Spellbinders. So I think that matches nicely. We'll just keep going. I think I need to move this over. There we go. And then we will stitch. Now, at the end of my little tips and tricks video, I said that I would eventually talk about a background plate. This is what I'm talking about. This background plate is a little more complex than the one that is like the stitched argyle, which is almost fully paper on the back. This is very delicate and intricate. It has little cutouts where you are going to be able to see the background, so it is important to be a little cautious when stitching so you don't have threads showing all over the place. And I'll show you how to do that here. I'll just split my thread a hair. And again, I do that off to the side when I'm not explaining it. But if you want to know how I split it, check out the Stitching 101 video. Part 2 is where I really show it. I kind of show it in part 1, but part 2 is where I really kind of demo it. So now I have 2 pieces of green. I'm going to need a lot of green on the background of this. I kind of planned out to go pretty green on the back. Basically all of this is going to be green. So my plan for you here is to show you how to stitch the 3 different shapes on this one, and then I'm going to finish the rest fast forwarded. So there you go. Oops, I didn't condition this. And then for conditioning the ends, I just kind of do the ends first. Whoa. And then pull it through the rest of the way. And that seems to be working pretty good. This reminds me of the wax that I use for diamond dots. But that is not wax. I did read the package, not wax. Okay, I'll get this threaded and we'll start our project. On my Stitching Part 2 video, Stitching 101 On my Stitching 101 Part 2 video, I showed you different methods of starting and stopping. So for something like this, I'm going to do this shape first. I would recommend just holding the tail. So I'm going to go ahead and start from the back. And this is again a line following die. So I'm going to stitch going all the way up. I'm going to do a back stitch on each of these, and then I'm going to go from inside out, inside out, inside out, and then make the little veins of the leaves. So let's just start. I'm always starting from the back going up, and then I'm just going to hold the tail in the back. You can kind of see it there. And then I'll back stitch for the whole leaf. Gotta do a better job of holding my tail. There we go. Might be a little long tail, but that's okay. For these intricate dies, just know that you're going to be starting and stopping a little bit more. Sometimes you can kind of pull them through. I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes here, but for the pieces that are single, you're going to have to start and stop a bit. Alright, back stitching all the way down, and then we'll continue. And my needle came out. That has not happened on camera in a while, so sometimes I'm glad for things like this when I'm filming, because if it happens to you, hopefully you feel better. I'm just doing this so you can learn how, and sharing my ideas with you and tips and tricks. I wish that there was videos like this out when I started. I tried looking. I mean, there are certainly other influencers out there, but I didn't find anyone who was really teaching me how to use each die, and I needed that. So I was majorly working with trial and error, and I just kept on trying. And now that my living room is almost back together, yay, I am going to be doing more stitching because I really enjoy my time in the evenings with my husband. That is my absolute favorite time of the day. And if we can be in our living room together after both working all day long, that is like gold to me. And we usually either read or watch a movie, and I like to stitch. So now I have a spot to stitch again. I really do not prefer stitching at my desk here because I find stitching to be very relaxing. I don't like doing it in my desk. To me, at my desk, I am needing little extra papers and all sorts of things like that. So I don't like to do it. But now that I have that spot, I'm going to hopefully have some more stitching update videos coming up. I kind of have a lot of irons in the fire. I know at the beginning of the year I'm like, woohoo, I'm on the design team for Pajama Crafter Stamps and designing cards for them and popping pictures on Instagram and more YouTube videos, and Spellbinders just keeps knocking it out of the park with all these collections that they're releasing. So yeah, I'm a little busy with the card world, but it's so good, so that's okay. It's good busy, as they would say. And then for professionally speaking, I am taking a class right now that is a 2-year class, and it is very involved, and it is all about literacy. So I'm hoping that that class will help me work with kindergartners some more. If you didn't know, I'm a kindergarten teacher, and kind of combating some of the dyslexia and some other common issues that just keep coming up with today's curriculum issues. And I don't know. Basically, I don't feel like teacher programs really teach phonics anymore, or like teach the teachers how to teach phonics. So that program basically is breaking down the English language in a major way and teaching me how to teach phonics correctly and making sure I can help more kiddos. So I am thrilled. And I do notice that the kids that are read to really do well with their reading. So if you have kids, read to your kids, or if you have grandkids, read to your grandkids. It will help them so much, I promise. Okay, plus the libraries are free, so just get a library card, try to get down to the library, get some books for your kids. Okay, it's my little soapbox for you. I wasn't sure if I was going to go ahead and do the borders on these leaves. I wanted to see what it looked like with just the green, and I think it needs the border with the white paper. So I am going to do back stitching around the border of this leaf, which, yes, takes a little extra time, but it's not the end of the world. This is supposed to be fun, and paper is low cost, if you will. So, okay, now that my leaf is done, I'm going to go ahead and start that back stitching. I'll just start at the tip and go around, doing the same method as I did going up the middle of the leaf. The good old back stitch. Now that leaf is finished, I can go ahead and cut my thread, and I am just going to tie a knot on the back of this one since it is just a single leaf and it does not need to connect with anything else. And I'll trim the tail so there's no green fuzzies around. And there's a close-up look at the leaf. You can see it does have quite a bit of texture with that stitching, and I like the way that that's turned out so far. Okay, now I'm going to do these two sections with you, and I'll show you how I can connect shapes. So, it's all about the pivoting. So I'm going to go ahead and take my tail, and I'm going to hold it again, have a longer... maybe I'll just have it tucked. I'll show you how to tuck the tail. So I'm going to pinch it here, and I'm going to go up the second hole through the middle, and I'm going to go kind of around and do the side of the leaf first. Kind of like this. And that's just going to hold that tail down. And 2 or 3 stitches is plenty for... Did I just go through my thread? I did. Yes, there we go. And just like that is secure. Do you see how it went basically through those stitches? But I guess the stitches went over that. But now that is secure. It's not going anywhere. And I've started my leaf. Okay, I always recommend working from the front side because that's the side that people are going to end up seeing. So gotta make sure I follow my own advice and flip it back. And then we'll go up the other side here. And make the border just like the other little guy. I guess the big guy. And then we'll do the circle. Circle stitch, I think, is the easiest way to stitch, and it is rather mindless, but in a good way. Alright, there's my leaf, and then I'll do some back stitching all the way down the center. Doing the center of the flower on the other card. I probably should just show you at the end of this video how to do that because it's a little complicated. It's not terribly complicated, but just a little bit. I finally made it all the way around the little flower. Now to go to the next flower without having thread all over, I'm going to flip it over and find the hole that's closest, like this, and see how the thread, you can't even see it on the back. You can see it there, but on the front you can't see it. Now if I were to go back and instead choose maybe this hole, you can see that thread there. Can you tell? I hope. Anyway, so it's just about pivoting your thread to be on the right hole. So if you kind of just move it like this, you can see, oh, if you went in that hole, it would show on the front. Or if you went from here to here, you would see it. So if you're going to go from here now to the next one, you're going to want to bring your thread down here and then move it over. So if you have any questions about that, I guess I could maybe go into more detail on another video, but I hope that helps kind of figure out what to do. But you know, I think these are supposed to be flowers, but I'm just going to stick with green and have all of the energy and focus go to the big purple flower in the center. So I'll just go ahead and finish this little circle stitch here. If you want any tips and tricks, make sure you watch those stitched videos. I really tried to get all the information I can into those, and I hope that that was helpful. So if you watch those, again, let me know in the comments and share them with a friend. That was very helpful for me and fun for your friend to learn how to stitch. Alrighty, now I'll just do some back stitching on here to finish off the circle. And now I am almost about 1/4 of the way done with the stitching on the background of this card. I will have to add stitching to the rest of this here, so I'm going to pop on a podcast and do that and then just enjoy my day, and then I'll come right back and we will finish up this card. Alright, after a ton of stitching, I am finally done, and I love how sweet and it just kind of vintage it looks, but I love the lacy look of it all. I love that look in general. I think that's going to be the curtain style I'm going for in my craft room, is the lacy look. So I'm going to add it to this gold mirror cardstock as my background, and I'm not even worried about using a full panel because it will show through all of the holes. So I'm going to go ahead and add glue to the edges, and then probably just the edges, I think. I don't want to add it too much because if it squeezes out, it's going to show up on that gold mirror cardstock. So sometimes I put it on the stitch pieces, but on this one, I think I'm just going to skip that and just do the edges. And then I'll line it up with the bottom corner here, like so, and then get that side all set. I'll probably have to trim, just knowing that now. And then I will hope for the best, give it a press, and I might have to add some more glue, but I'm going to try my best here. Anyway, this has been a really fun one to stitch. Like I said, I have a whole nother one planned. Where did that go? Right here. So I will be finishing this one with my husband tonight, and I will show you the results at the end of this video. Okay, everything looks like it's kind of attaching nicely. The only thing is this area needs a little more pressure, perhaps more glue. Nope, I guess the pressure worked. Nope, more glue. Okay, I'm going to use the shovel part of my tool-in-one and just kind of sneak it under. When I first got my tool-in-one, I thought, what is that even for? And it's for all sorts of things. Picking up better press plates, sneaking glue under small pieces like that, scraping off things. I've used it for all sorts of things. And that little tail here is popping through, so I'm just going to shove it in there. Hopefully I'm not wrecking this. Oh no, where did my needle go? I have a needle minder. Do I remember to use it every time? No. That's okay. Oh, and that popped up again. I might have to add some even more glue. And when I was stitching, I did not do a absolutely perfect job. You can see I did make some errors with the bigger leaves, and I think it adds character, so I'm not changing it. And with this, I'm just going to snip it and move on, because I don't think it is worth the headache of getting really fussy about. Okay, so that's all set. I am just going to trim down the edge with my paper cutter. And then we can finally finish up this card. Now the flowers that I'm adding onto this card are from the Envelope of Wonder set. I loved that one. It was really fun to work with it the first time, and the flowers are really cool. So I went ahead and pulled those out of my stash, and I'm using them today. I have a whole video on my channel about the Envelope of Wonder and what I did with that collection, so if you are wondering, haha, you can go ahead and check out that video. And I just used that pink wedding card that I made in that video for a coworker for their wedding. So that was great. Okay, I have my flower here, and we will go ahead and put it on. Okay, a little liquid glue will do. Here goes the neighbor's dog again. I don't know why the dog is always barking. It seems like there's about 5 or 6 dogs in the neighborhood that just bark like crazy all the time. It's like, is anyone really watching them, or are they just gonna bark every day, all day? Seriously though, if that was my dog barking, I'd be in jail. I don't know. I feel like sometimes people are just very particular about dogs and everything, and okay. Anyway, I'm gonna put my leaves down next, and then cover up the stems of the leaves with my dark purple flower. That is so cute. And then we have the Celebrate New Beginnings, which I am going to use this card, or at least market this card at the coffee shop where I sell my cards. I'm going to market this one as a graduation card. That makes sense to me. Okay, we have Celebrate New Beginnings. Hooray. And then these little flowers I'm going to sneak in. I'm going to go with 3 leaves. I think that's plenty, so I'll just pop that in my scrap area and use it on something else. And then we'll put some little flowers on. I die cut out all of them from the Envelope of Wonder die. I don't know if I'm going to use them all. They kind of blend into the background, but I don't know. Nothing about this card is really subtle, so I guess the flowers can be subtle. Maybe we'll put some more on because we have them cut out anyway, so why not, right? And then I'm going to add bling because the girl likes bling. I think I'm going to put the bling on the little purple flowers, and that's it today. So if you're looking for more stitching inspiration, like I said before, I do have that Stitching 101 video series that just came out on my channel, and then I also have a whole playlist called Stitching on Cards, and then I have another playlist called the Stitching Die of the Month, so that's going to have all of the club subscription stitching dies on there, and I show you how to use them just like this video, so make sure that you check that out if you are looking for inspiration. Now the only thing this card needs is a card base, which I will do before I go ahead and take some pretty pictures of it, but I love the way this one turned out, and I'm excited to work on my next one with some of those kind of darker tone colors, and with some lovely editing magic I will have this card done for you by the time you see the video. So we'll see you next time, and bye, crafty friend. So, update. I did get this part done, but I did not get the background done. And I need to go ahead and keep this editing train going. So I'm just going to show you what I did. And I thought that this might happen, so I went ahead and did some pencil marks here to explain. So what you're going to want to do for this die is make sure that you go diagonally across. And if you want to make sure that you're going from the right hole, you can go ahead and take any flat edge. I used a book. You could use a ruler, but what I did was I took that flat edge like this and then just cut the circle in half and then went across. And then I moved over one hole here and moved over one hole there and went across. And then I did about 5 here, and if it made a perfect center, then I knew it was centered. So watch this on this one. You can see that it is not centered properly because I'm not using the right holes. So I wanted to show you the difference between it's centered. Right in that center is where all of those lines are coming together. Here they are not. So there you can see that. And then here is my first stitch. I went across and I just went over the pencil, and then here I'm going to go down and go to this next hole right there. Just like that. And then on my next one, I just kind of kept going, and you just keep going across, down and across, down and across, down and across, all the way around until you get this, which is really cool. I am not certain if I'm going to end up putting a sentiment in the center, or maybe put a wax seal there, or a butterfly. I really don't know. I've just kind of been unsure of what to do with this because I have so many ideas. I think this will end up being in one of my stitched update videos coming soon. I don't know when that will go up. I'm not going to make any promises, but this one is a really cool die, and you can even see the back. It's not perfect, so if your backs are messy too, it's okay. But anyway, there's that. If you have any questions about that method, just let me know in the comments and I can try my best to help. Anyway, oh, there's the rug that I bought. Isn't that pretty? That's going to go in my craft room. So yeah, anyway, we'll see you next time. Bye, crafty friend.